Hello beloved twin flames, this is Stephanie Parasha, Divine Light, coming out to you from India. I have 4 days left here and then I'll be heading soon back to New Zealand. Thank you to those of you that have been my regular listeners and subscribers, and for all of those messages you send me of support and thanks and encouragement. I really appreciate that, and welcome also to those of you that might be new to this channel. I send out these messages in the hope that it provides people with confirmation on their path and a little bit of support when things might be getting tough. And also, I talk about things that I've been through myself, that I'm going through on my path, and with the intention of helping as many as possible. So I'm just going to give you a quick energy update of the energies that I'm tuning into at present for a large number of the Twin Flame Collective. Now, that may not be all of you, so if you're not resonating with this message, it might just mean that you might be in a different time wave pocket. So, we can't all do things at the exact same time. We may come along in waves, and what I've found is some of the messages that I've recorded in the past are now being listened to by another wave of twins that are coming through, that are experiencing things that I had been through earlier on my journey. Please excuse the noise here. I'm really sorry. This is what it's like over here in India. People like to beat their horns, and I live on a corner of a street, so it's a real popular place to meet on the corner and beep your horn if you're trying to get through the traffic. So now I'm going to talk about what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, because I have a little bit more of an overview, a bigger picture, because of the themes that I'm seeing of people that are coming to me for sessions and support. I have a bigger picture view. So what I'm seeing is a very big theme happening right now. There's a large number of people that are going through a very, very deep process, and I would actually almost call it a mass purge or a mass clearing, a mass triggering event. And because a large number of twins are experiencing this situation, and it is a very difficult one. It's a big, maybe ascension wave, you could say. People are really having to ride this wave. It's a very tough one. It's a very strong one. It's one of the strongest. And those people that are being affected by this are being pushed to their limit. So what that means is that probably, their most deepest fears are being brought up to the surface, are being triggered. So if you are feeling that that's happening to you right now, please do not feel that you are alone. There are a lot of others that are being triggered, particularly and specifically being triggered into the most wounded place that we have as a human, which is into that fear of rejection and the wound of how it feels when we are rejected. And so many are experiencing this right now, because if you haven't gone deep enough into that wound and healed it, and have only really been doing, you've been doing the work, but perhaps kind of doing the surface work, you've got to actually go really a lot deeper, and you're being pushed to that deepest, darkest depth of the pain and the wound so that you can heal it once and for all. And so this is what people are experiencing right now. I'm getting, since the last week, I've been receiving similar phone calls from probably between 5 to 10 twin flames that are experiencing the very same situation, whereby they've either been told by their twin that they no longer want to be together, or their twin has decided they're going to get engaged or go off with someone else, or they themselves have decided that they can't handle the situation any longer because their twin is in a relationship and not making any progress or movement towards them, and they've also reached their point where they're feeling they've had enough. So this is what I'm seeing going on. Now, to the person who is experiencing that pain, it is obviously, and it's very terrifying. It is the worst pain anyone any human can ever experience. And so this brings up a huge amount of pain and fear and worry and confusion and doubt and really a lot of feelings of just giving up, that life's not worth it, this always happens to me. What's happening is it's actually the fear itself which is trying to be purged out, so that you can come into a more loving union first with yourself. Because when you reach that pit of despair where there's no turning back, and it's the last of the worst parts of the pain that resides within, there's only one way to go from there, and pretty much that is, you've got to get yourself out of that. How do you get yourself out of that? You have to be there for yourself. So this is the point that you're being triggered to, so that you no longer think that someone else is going to come along and help you out of your pain, or make your pain better, or make you go away. We cannot go into a twin flame relationship or create a union based on a old fear-based belief that says the other person is there to complete me or make me happy. We know this. A lot of us can know that in our mind, but we can't actually do that emotionally. So that's why we're being pushed right to the depth, because you have to be there for yourself. And how I coach people through this process is that when you reach that point where you're just that lost little child, you're that lonely, terrified little part or aspect of yourself that is cowering in the corner, feeling like nobody loves them. It's the worst place you'd ever want to be on earth, and you're at the worst possible moment in your life. You need to call in another aspect of yourself that is there to come in. That's your rescuer, that's your savior, that is the part of you that needs to come in and step in and say, it's okay, I've got you, we're going to get out of this. And we're going to get out of this step by step, slowly but surely, in a very compassionate and loving and nurturing way that is very slow, and brings that aspect of yourself that is wounded and integrates it in when it's ready in its own time, into a place where it feels loved and supported. And I know it is, again, another traumatic experience and another devastating realization when we see and we feel that no one's there to come and save us. And that is, again, almost re-traumatizing the original pain when we see, why isn't anyone coming? This should be when my twin comes to me the most, when I need them the most. But what we have to realize at that point is that we've been seeking that love from outside of ourselves, externally. When we put all of our energy into thinking that someone else is going to be there for us, that is a very dangerous place to be in, and that is a very vulnerable place to be in. And that's where many of us have been. That's how we've been trained, through observing other relationships that we see, our parents and what we see on TV and the movies, is the other person's always there for you. And when your other person isn't there for you, you feel something's wrong with me. But what's actually happening is you're being asked to go to the next level. You're being asked as a twin flame to heal and flush out one of the most, probably I'd say it's one of the most false lies that we were ever told, that somebody else is going to be there to save us and be with us and complement us. We were fed that lie, and it is one of the worst lies that we have to grieve the loss of. When we finally realize it's actually us that has to be there for ourselves. Now, when we make our way back from that dark depth, pit of despair, our most lonely and rejected point, where you can't go past that. It's the worst place a human could ever go. When we shift ourselves out of that through being there for ourselves and creating this new aspect of self that comes in to create that wholeness, that part that we were always searching for, when it comes from within, it can never ever be lost. It's the part of us that keeps our own self safe and loved and cared for and nurtured. So that's the part of the completion process. So when you're at that stage, even though it feels like it is the worst place to be ever, you are nearly finding your complete part of yourself. And that's the goal of how you need to come into that union with yourself. And we won't create that union with ourselves unless we get pushed to that point. So if your twin is triggering you from a higher perspective, please be rest assured that they're doing the best thing they could ever do for you in terms of your spiritual and emotional growth process. As hard as it is, you'll know you're at the turning point when you reach that point. So please, at that point, don't think, this is the worst place I'll ever want to be. I've really lost it now. Everything's falling apart. It's never going to work out. It's the end of the road. In some respects, it is the end of the road. It's the end of the part of yourself that thinks it needs to find that from outside of itself and is putting too much energy into needing that from your twin. Okay, your twin will not receive your energy of wanting at all. If you're the one that's wanting and needing, they will definitely, if they are your true twin flame, be pushing you back so that you can get to that place. So please be rest assured, this is, although it feels like the worst place you could ever be, it's actually, you're nearly there. You are so close. And so please don't give up at this point. And again, I'm going to repeat seeing that card that's coming up so much for people at this time in their readings, the 9 of Wands, which is that nearly about to end the battle. You know, at that point you get people that actually walk away and from battle in the middle of the night because they're so tired and they can't go on anymore and they just can't face any more of the pain and the suffering that's required. But what they'll realize is if they just put that last little effort in and do what's required, which is sometimes the hardest bit, they will win that battle and the battle will be done, and there'll no longer be this push and pull that goes on with twin flames where the one is needing more and the other one's pushing the other away. That goes on so that you can come into this balance with yourself, into union with yourself. And we talk about that, but this is the practical part of it. So if you haven't already gone to the depths of this place, you will be being required to do that now. Okay, so many twin flames are in this process right now, and it is very, very tough. It is very, very hard. It's very, very difficult. You can bring yourself out of that much quicker and more easily if you call in that aspect of yourself that is going to come in to pull you out, and let go at this point of the need for that to be somebody else, especially your twin. Your twin will meet you when you've met yourself. Okay, you need to meet yourself first, and when you've come out of that, then you will be ready to set up a more healthy, balanced relationship with whomever, whether it's your twin or whether you have to run through a test run with someone else to test whether you are going to go into those old patterns of neediness and not loving yourself. Okay, so this exercise, this release of the fears of rejection, is for the purpose specifically of you to come into that union with your own self and be there for yourself, so that you will never face rejection, not in the same way, ever again. And I'm speaking to this because I speak from experience, because I've been to that place, and it is definitely the worst place. It is a living hell. It is hell on earth to go to that deep, dark place. It takes quite a lot of recovery to come back from having visited that place. It is a very raw and real and vulnerable and very painful place to go, and you will need some recovery time to bring yourself back out of that place. But I tell you, and I will reassure you now, if you find that aspect of yourself that's there to help and support you, you will come out of this a different person, and you will feel so much stronger, and you'll be able to be in relationship with others in a much more healthier way, where you're no longer afraid that they're going to leave you, or that they're going to go off with someone else, or that you're going to end up alone. That fear will be healed. The major fear that we've come to heal is twin flames. So it is, you can do this. You knew you were going to do this when you came in. You forgot how hard it was going to be, but you're now experiencing it, and it is once you've done it, that is pretty much it. You're back on track. So, and also I just want to, there's another sort of part to this that I'm seeing as people are starting to basically, it's like you're walking along and you think everything's fine and you think you're being positive about your twin flame, and then it's like suddenly you just basically feels as if you've just fallen down this massive chasm and you're right at the bottom, and it's like a big deep dark hole. What I'm hearing from twins is as they've started to fall down that deep dark hole, some of them are clinging onto the sides and they just don't want to fall. They don't want to fall. They want to need to climb back up. And I'm getting questions, people asking questions like, when will I be with my twin flame? What is he thinking of me or she? What are they thinking of me? How do they feel about me? And all of these types of questions, those are the kinds of people that are clinging onto that side of the chasm and they want to climb up. They're not prepared to just let go and drop to the bottom and figure it all out and get one big hit of pain and just heal it. Like, if you're still asking those kind of questions and needing to know what your twin is doing and when you're going to get together and what they're thinking about you and what does all of this mean, you haven't let go enough. What you're letting go of is not what you think. People think when they let go, they have to let go of their twin. You're letting go of your fear that is related to being with your twin, which is, are they going to stay with me? Are they going to love me? This is what you're letting go of. So when you let go and you hit the bottom, you're no longer going to have that fear. So it'll be much, much easier to continue through the process of being on this journey. Whenever you encounter your twin, whenever you're having connections with your twin, you're continuously going to have to learn how to let go in the moment, love and let go, because the kind of love that is pure, unconditional love is free love. It is not a love that clings and holds on to. And so this is what we're learning right now. It is definitely one of the hardest parts on the journey, so I'm feeling for you, those of you that are really going through this difficult time right now. But I can tell you from a bigger point of view, this part is extremely necessary for us to progress on our path. No pain, no gain. I've said it in the past. We've had experienced some pain, but this is the deepest. This is one of the deepest wounds. And as much as I don't want to say that I'm the kind of person that tries to, I like seeing people in pain. I do not like seeing people in pain at all. I wish we could be free of pain and free of wounding and free of fear and all of these things. And I've been working on freeing myself from fear, at least actively, since 2011, I would say 7 years of this kind of work. And there have been big waves on my journey where I've been going along just fine, and then whoosh, another wave, or bang, I've fallen down a big deep dark hole. And this is all for a higher purpose, and every single time I address the deep fear and I heal it, I move to a new level. And you're all doing that too. We're all doing the same thing. And then we can also help the next person coming along behind us that's struggling. This is the hardest part, the emotional part, but we need to get through it so we can move forward. Okay, I think I will leave it there. I think you've received this message. I'm really sending you out a lot of love and a big hug and heaps of healing to those of you that are struggling right now with these energies. But please know it is a wave. It's not going to last forever. You will find it much, much easier if you just surrender to it and let go and trust. Let yourself fall, and then it'll be much less painful than what you expect when you step in and heal yourself and bring that part of yourself in that's going to lift you up again, and it'll be a part of you, and that's a lot more reliable than having to put our faith in someone else. We don't put ourselves in that situation any longer. Anything we get extra from someone else is a bonus. Okay, so I hope this really helps. I'm really into giving people practical advice, so if you are wanting to connect with me and receive any healings or sessions, check out what I've got to offer there on my website. I'll put the link below. I really, we talk about a lot of different things. It's a combination. People don't think that spiritual is just this fluffy, soft stuff, but spiritual work is very practical, and a lot of the spiritual work we're doing right now is very emotional. So we're working on that as well, and I have a lot of tips and tools and techniques to help you with that, to help you get you through. So please give get in touch with me about that. Also, if you are not financially in a position to book a session, there's another option there which I highly recommend, which would help you at this stage on your journey. It's a healing meditation audio, removing fears and blocks and stepping into your power, specifically for twin flames, and that is only 17 New Zealand dollars, and it's also available on my website, and the link is below. So I hope this finds you well, everyone. I'll be in touch again as soon as I can. I will be travelling throughout the next week or so, getting prepared to go back to New Zealand, so I hope that I can do as much as I can, sending out messages and things for you, keeping the energies flowing through. Okay, lots and lots of love. Bye for now.